Hey, beautiful souls, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke, and I will be your host today. It's that time again for the Gemini full moon. Y'all, it's hard to believe that it's already been 2 weeks since I did my new moon lunation update. So I'm back again for the full moon that's going to be taking place on Sunday in Gemini. Are you guys ready? So I am going to be changing things up this full moon lunation cycle. A little housekeeping. I am offering my full moon healing circle 2 different times on Sunday. Would love to have you join us. You can find the link to join in my events tab on my website, 12th House Queen B. Would love to have you there. Love to have you join us. So, real quick, let's dive into the charts, shall we? This is going to be a pretty intense full moon lunation cycle. And the reason why I say that is due to we have a lot of squares going on, and I'm going to dive into that, you guys. So the full moon is going to be taking place at 4:01 Eastern time. So check your time zone to see where you're at, to see exactly where it's going to be happening for you. But it's going to peak at 4:01 a.m. on the 15th. Now, shortly after that, okay, and I say shortly, it's going to be almost 12 hours. 12 hours after we have this full moon in Gemini, we're also going to have Mercury station. Yahoo! I'm so thankful. So thankful. Um, this has been a little bit of a struggle to try to get my words out. I'm sure you guys have felt it too. Now, this is going to be a Mercury ruled um, full moon, since it's going to be taking place in Gemini, and this is going to happen at 23 degrees of Gemini. The sun is going to be at 23 degrees of Sag. Now, we do have Mercury that is going to be in a sextile, I'm sorry, in a trine. It's going to be in a trine with Mars for this full moon. Now, with this full moon being in Gemini, we really want to focus on our thoughts. We want to focus on our words. We want to focus on the story that we've been telling ourselves, but also the story that we've been telling others. Gemini is the storyteller, okay? And so when you have gifts, when you are learning how to channel, Gemini is going to be one of those areas that you're going to want to look to see how they show up for you, because Gemini is the storyteller. So you want to make sure, with this being a full moon in Gemini, is the story that you're telling about you, your situation, life, is that truly of the highest value? Is it serving you? Okay. Is it serving you? And the reason why I say is it serving you is because Gemini is going to rule our thoughts and our words. And we can get into this pattern of being stuck in old ways. Okay. And when we revert back to those old ways, this is going to include the stories that we tell ourselves. This is going to include the stories that we tell others about our journey. Is the story that you have planned on repeat truly of the highest value? Okay. And what I mean by that is, if it's not serving you during this full moon lunation cycle, get serious about really cutting these things out, okay? If your thoughts are not serving you, if you're constantly telling yourself a story over and over and over again, and it's old programming, we no longer have time to point out the obvious of what's not serving us. Now it's time to take action, okay? Cut the things out that need to be cut out. This is a full moon lunation cycle, which represents removing everything that's no longer serving you. Really taking a hard look. Is the things that I say serving me? Are they even true? Okay? Are they even true? You could be telling yourself, anything. You could be telling yourself you're not worthy, and that's false. So here you are planting false thoughts, ideas that aren't serving you. So with this Gemini full moon, get real serious. And if you've noticed in the readings leading up to this full moon, it's all been about your thoughts. It's all been about your thoughts. Are they serving you? Are they not serving you? Are they even true? You know, because Gemini is going to rule truth. It's also going to rule facts. And with this full moon, it's going to be conjunct White Moon Selena. So a lot of the things that we saw with, and this is going to go back into the spring, back in April, when we had this Moon Jupiter conjunction, and I want to say it was the Taurus new moon, Aries new moon, Taurus new moon time frame. Okay, we had this exact similar conjunction with White Moon Selena and Jupiter. So the higher octave of your thoughts, those seeds have already been planted. And so more or less what we have been doing is going through and reprogramming our brain. When you go through the process of starting to reprogram your brain to rewrite the story, because that's what you're doing. Trauma is not a memory. It is a blueprint within your body that gets activated every time a similar blueprint enters your aura. So those thoughts are activated when a similar blueprint comes in. Those thoughts are activated. Those words are activated. The old programming is activated. When that energy comes in and it activates a similar energetic blueprint within our aura, okay? So in those moments, we have to literally stop and go, hold on, this is old, this is repeating, this is from the past, this isn't serving me, I've got to let this go, okay? The next 2 weeks, your thoughts are going to be the biggest, your thoughts and your words are going to be the biggest things that you all could truly focus on because of this Gemini aspect. Gemini rules early childhood education. It rules our small community. It rules our cars. It also rules our thoughts and words. Okay, this is Mercury. So get really serious about your thoughts and the words and the story that you have written or you have rode on. Okay, what is that story? Is that story serving you? Is that the story that you want to be the final chapter? Or is it time to put a pause on that story, turn the page, and start a new chapter in your life? This full moon lunation cycle is going to be the lunation cycle to really step in and take control of your thoughts. Now, this is how we work with this energy on a personal level. On a collective scale, this full moon in Gemini is going to bring a lot of darkness up to the surface. And what I mean by a lot of darkness that's hidden, okay, because we now have Pluto and we have this opposition. It's going to be working into a closer opposition again as we move towards the end of the year, end of the calendar year. Okay, this opposition is going to start getting closer. So as we move closer to the end of the month, we'll have another new moon on December 30th. So as we move closer to this point, closer towards the end of the month, we can see more of this Pluto and Martin energy really being brought to light because this is a full moon lunation cycle. Okay, this is when we see a lot of big things take place. Mercury is going to station at 3:56 Eastern time zone on the 15th. So it's going to be roughly almost exactly 12 hours. I mean, we are 5 minutes from being exactly 12 hours from when we have the full moon. Mercury's going to station direct. Now, as Mercury starts stationing direct and starts building speed back up, we are going to see this Mercury and Jupiter opposition around the same time that we're going to be seeing this Pluto and Mars opposition too, okay? So there's going to be a lot that's brought up to the surface towards the end of this lunation cycle, and I will dive into it more because I do have charts to dive into it at that time. Venus is going to be opposing Mars during this full moon lunation cycle. So as you can see, Venus is going to be at 9 degrees Aquarius and Mars is going to be 5 degrees. Now we're still within that 3-degree orb, 4-degree orb of the exact opposition. So Venus is now working her way out of this opposition. There's been a lot of towers as far as relationships go. There's been a lot brought to light. There's been a lot that we've had to examine. And it does feel like everybody's kind of opposing each other. I'm not able to get my thoughts, opinions, beliefs across to those that I want to get this across to. And it feels like there's a block coming back in on the other side of that too. So keep that in mind. Honestly, the best way that I have found to work through this hard energy is to pause and say, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. Because it can cause a lot of triggers to be brought up to the surface. Triggers of abandonment, triggers of rejection, triggers of, oh my gosh, this is happening again, triggers of not feeling worthy, trigger. The energy is very triggering, okay, because of all of these oppositions and these squares. Like the astrology over the next 2 weeks is not going to be easy, okay, especially if you're living unconscious. And what I mean by that is if your emotions rule every decision that you make, this is going to bring a lot of challenges up to the surface. Because, in all honesty, we're meant to observe and not absorb the energy. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me because we are in Earth School. Our job is to learn how to manage and control and walk through our own triggers and towers and not lash out onto others for things that are our responsibility. So, because the energy is supporting a lot of conflict, a lot of aggression, a lot of, I need to get my point across, my belief, my opinion, instead of sitting back and listening, okay? Remember, Gemini rules our words. It's how we speak. It is our mind, okay? That is a masculine sign. So when we are fully in that masculine energy, we want to be the ones that are speaking. We want to be the ones that are heard. We want to be the ones that our beliefs are the ones that everybody agrees with. We are the ones that we want to see that our way is the right way. So we feel like we're part of a group and we feel like we're part of a collective, when in reality, we're losing that individual, okay, component when we start getting into that hive tribal mind of everybody needs to see things my way. And I feel like that's kind of gotten us in the place that we're in now due to all of the war that we're seeing all around us, right? Because every leader of every country or every religion believes that their way is the right way. Okay. And this is where this opposition to the sun and Sag is coming into play, right? Our religion, our beliefs, our higher learning structures. All of this is actually being reevaluated. It would not surprise me to see more instances like the CEO and Luigi over the next 2 weeks, especially with this full moon in Gemini, since Gemini and Sag rule education. Okay, learning. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that, especially with this opposition with Mars, Pluto in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius. It would not shock me to see more of that being brought to light. Pluto is also in a trine with the South Node in Libra. Okay, so there's a lot of things from the past that's coming back around, and I don't necessarily mean like the past in this life. There's a lot of past life karma that's coming back around. There's a lot of past life people that's coming back around that we need to finish karmic ties with. We also have Saturn trining Juno and Poseidon. So Saturn is now direct at 13 degrees and is in a trine with Juno and Poseidon, and also still in a trine with Kronos and Chris. Okay. So keep that in mind. When the moon moves into Cancer and activates this grand water trine, I have already seen the buildup of this, and it has been building up over the last 2 days. There is a lot of movement in the water as far as ships are concerned, and they're directly connected to China, and they are showing up in Taiwan. So after this full moon, the moon is going to jump right into Cancer and is going to activate this grand water trine. We need to say a lot of prayers because there is a lot of movement on the water. Now, keep in mind, every single time the moon comes through and activates this trine, there is something that happens with the water. Okay? Every time. The moon is going to be trining Vesta, which we have the moon here, trining over to Vesta here. And also Zeus, we have Neptune that is in a square with the moon in Gemini. So this is where this full moon squaring Neptune might feel like our dreams are being put on hold. It might feel like everything that I've hoped for, everything that I've wished for is just not showing up. However, the thing is, and the lesson is, assess the situation. Do not let your fears of not being able to accomplish this take over. Okay. But also ask yourself, are you seeing things clearly? Are you showing up the way that you should show up in order for you to get everything that you hope, wish, dream for? This square could also be, where have you been putting your head in the sand and not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Actually, the opposite of that, right? It's going to be running away from it, running away from responsibility, or just not showing up for yourself. Or this could also show up in a way of, where have you been seeing things with rose-colored glasses when you needed to take those fucking glasses off and see things clearly, right? Jupiter is also going to be in a square with Saturn. And you see, we still have Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, square in Saturn. This can feel like Jupiter is just not expanding things. Saturn's just not opening the doors. It can feel stuck. It can feel like you're just not able to expand. You're just not able to move forward. And it almost feels like being stuck in quicksand and just not able to move. Like, I want to go. This is where I want to go, but I'm just not able to expand and create the things that I truly want to create. Now, we also have a trine with the sun at 23 degrees Sagittarius, and it's not exact, but it's in a 5-degree orb with Chiron. So they're in good harmonious aspects in, okay, I've done the work. I've seen my wounds. I know what gifts I'm meant to bring to humanity. I know what I'm meant to use in my toolbox from the lessons that Chiron has brought up to the surface for me to learn. We also have the sun squaring Neptune. So not only do you have that square with Gemini, but you also have it with Sag too. So we're feeling it in our shadow aspects as far as the moon's concerned, but then we're also feeling it on a collective soul level of, am I seeing things clearly? Am I seeing people, places, things? Most importantly, am I taking the rose-colored glasses off to see myself clearly? The more that we can focus on ourselves and not project that it's anybody else's responsibility other than our own, this is going to help with these squares, okay? Neptune is in a sextile with Uranus. So Neptune is still retrograde. I'm sorry, Neptune is stationed, Uranus is still retrograde. So this is where things can be brought to you instantly as far as your hopes, wishes, dreams are concerned. This is where, if you are not seeing things clearly, the Uranus retrograde is going to bring that sudden awakening, that sudden change, that sudden redirection, okay, that sudden upheaval to have you see things in a different light. Just remember, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me, okay? And we also have Jupiter that's going to be in a trine with Venus. And this trine is actually going to be getting a little bit more exact as Venus moves up in Aquarius. Now, Venus in Aquarius, there's a lot of energy in Aquarius. This can bring in very eccentric, unique relationships. Venus in Aquarius truly loves people that are their true authentic self. So the more that we can be our true authentic selves, we're going to really have that support with Venus in Aquarius. Now, keep in mind, we're still going to see a lot being brought to light on the world stage, especially with this Mars retrograde in Libra, and it is going to retrograde back into Cancer. And when it retrogrades back into Cancer, I feel like we're going to see a lot more connected to what we witnessed with Trump as soon as Mars moved into Cancer back in the summer, if you get my drift. Mars and Cancer is kind of like crimes of passion on steroids, and then you have it retrograde on top of that. Yeah, this full moon is going to be pretty intense. It's going to be great for really doing a lot of introflexion, meaning don't look outside of you, look in you. Okay, the more that you can take responsibility of your own energy, your own actions, your own words, and not worry so much about everybody else, this is going to be the best way to work with this energy, because the focus is going to be on your thoughts and your words. All right, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. So on December 21st, the sun is going to move into 0 degrees Capricorn, and this is going to be roughly around 6 a.m. The sun is going to move into Capricorn, and this is also going to be the winter solstice. The winter solstice is the longest night. Okay, so when we have the longest night, there is a lot of darkness that is active during those times. So it's a great idea to truly up your protection on this day. Okay, it really is. Mars is now going to move to 4 degrees of Leo, getting into a tighter opposition with Pluto at 0 degrees in Aquarius. Happy birthday, Capricorns. If you all would like to have a solar return reading done, let me know. The moon is going to be at 13 degrees, working into a trine with Jupiter. Right now it's squaring it, but it's going to be working up to that point as it moves along. I'm sorry, not Jupiter, Uranus. The next day I want to talk about is Christmas Eve. Okay, now on Christmas Eve, Pope Francis is going to be doing some rituals and opening 5 portals. I mean, what could potentially go wrong? If you have not really researched Pope Francis, I would highly recommend doing some research, and you'll understand why I'm saying that. So let's pray for the light. Let's pray that God brings in divine protection on this day. So Venus is going to be trining the moon and Jupiter. The moon is going to be in Libra at 19 degrees. Just going to have crossed over Lilith, that is retrograde in Libra. And Venus is going to be 19 degrees in Aquarius. And then, of course, Jupiter is going to be 14 degrees retrograde in Gemini. So this day particular, keep an eye on your thoughts specifically. Just remember, air rules thoughts and words. Regardless if you are in Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, okay, it has to do with our mind. Okay, because that's what air represents. Air represents those things. So keep an eye on your thoughts. We're going to be getting closer to this exact square with Jupiter and Saturn. And as you can see on Christmas Eve, it's going to be within a 1 degree orb of being exact. You can also see now that Mercury is picking back up speed. We're going to be within a 3-degree orb of that opposition. And as you can see here, Pluto is now at 0 degrees with Mars now at 4. Okay. So we have a lot of opposing energy. And when you have opposing energy and when people are not doing the work, this is where egos get bruised and everything is taken personally. The more that you can say this has absolutely nothing to do with me and everything to do with them and what they're going through, the easier this energy is going to be. Okay. It's not happening to me, it's happening for me. Okay. It's good to have opposing opinions. It's good to see the other side of the coin. But with this Mars and Pluto opposing each other in the skies, this is where sometimes those opposing opinions, those opposing thoughts, those opposing beliefs, those opposing thoughts, beliefs, even in our leaders, okay, people that are on the stage, Leo represents the lead role. Okay, even with our leaders, we're seeing this play out with the religious wars. Okay, the more that you can stay in you and not give in to, I have to prove my point, I have to win this battle, I have to win this opposition, the easier the next 2 weeks is going to be for you. Because I can promise you, when we feed into this Mars and Pluto energy of, I have to be right, emotions are high, this is where fights are going to happen. Relationships are going to come to end. Divorces are going to happen. There's a lot of opposing energy, and the best way to handle this is to not participate in the lower vibrational energies of Mars and Pluto. And this is going to have to do with our ego. This is going to have to do with our truth. This is going to have to do with how we take action, how we show up, but also how we fight. The next day that I want to talk about is going to be December 25th. Now, December 25th of 2020, we had a bomb go off downtown Nashville. This exact day, we are going to have Jupiter and Mercury almost in their exact opposition. Okay, almost in their exact opposition. And as you can see here, okay, Mars and Pluto are getting closer to that exact opposition. Now, on the 26th, you'll see that it is exact with Mercury and Jupiter. Mercury's going to be at 13 degrees, building up speed, going straight ahead. Jupiter is going to be at 13 degrees. So we're going to have this exact opposition. But I also want to note that on the 26th, we're going to have the nodes change too. The moon is going to be in Scorpio, activating that grand water trine with Poseidon and Juno, Kronos, and so this grand water trine with Saturn is going to be activated again. I feel like we could potentially see a lot of upheaval on this day. And if it doesn't happen on this day, there could be something that triggers on this day. And we see it as we get closer to this exact opposition with Mars and Pluto. And this is going to be leading up to the end of the year. Literally going to be leading up to the end of the year. Hold on, y'all. The next 2 weeks, whew, just hold on. Just hold on the next 2 weeks. Because once we get into the new year, things are going to ease up just a little bit. These squares and oppositions are pretty intense. It's going to be intense for all of us because we're all feeling this. We're all feeling this around the globe, every single person. Okay. And just know that every time Pluto is activated, there's going to be more secrets brought to light, especially with those that are in position. Even with this Mars and Pluto opposition, we're going to see even more darkness brought to light with those that are in power, especially those that are seen on the world stage, because that's what Leo represents the lead character, the lead role. Okay. So let's see, what does everyone need to focus on with this Gemini full moon? See, keep your heart open. Yes, especially with these Mars oppositions. Work through your feelings. And trust the universe, trust the divine, trust God. Okay, has your back going through these energies. And you're going to be so thankful if you work through your feelings, okay, and you stay grounded in your heart. It does feel like we are having some heart chakra activations and also some third eye activations that are taking place. So keep that in mind. Let's see, what else do we need to focus on with this full moon in Gemini, please? What else do we need to focus on? Okay, so you need to work through your feelings, really ground into that, and see it from a perspective of, is this providing me the world that I want to have? Is this truly filling my cup up? Is this helping me to stay with my heart open? Is this allowing for me to work through my feelings? And you also need to get crystal clear about how your thoughts are serving you. Where's the devil's going to show up? Okay, so this is what I get. You're definitely moving forward. However, there's a lot of karma that's going to be cleared over the next 2 weeks. So I do get the Knight of Cups. There we go. I get the Knight of Cups with the World card and the Knight of Pentacles. So this feels like you've really been working on your feelings and you've been really taking a deep, hard look of, is this serving me? Is this helping me to get the world that I want? Is this supporting what I'm trying to build? Is this truly of the highest service? Really going in deep, following your intuition, focused on the things that bring you joy, focused on your hopes, wishes, and dreams. Now, I did get the Death card. But this is what feels like is coming to an end, okay? It feels like you are putting an end to, and this goes back to what I was saying because I had to giggle when it came out. Your thoughts. Are your thoughts truly serving you? Or are you screwing yourself with the things that you're saying? Like, I have to stop myself in mid thought, mid speaking, and go, okay, I know this isn't serving me, so why am I saying it? What good is going to come from me repeating this again? What good's going to come from it? What's going to change? If this thought, this energy, this situation's not serving me, what good's going to come from it if I continue to repeat it? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We have to change the behavior. And it does feel like this is what's coming to an end. Okay. I want to, this one's not making sense. I'm not real sure how this one's, because you're manifesting karma. Like, clarify the devil card. Clarify the devil card, please. Okay, so it feels like you have brought in a situation that is divinely protected and it is bringing people in that you're meant to work with. However, the reason why the devil is showing up is because of how you're looking at the situation. You're resistant. You're not wanting to open up to it. It's almost like you're being resistant that it's even there. So I get the Chariot, the Three of Pentacles, with the Two of Swords and the Five of Cups. So basically, what this is telling me is the devil's showing up because there's some resistance in making a decision. There's some resistance in opening up. The Two of Swords is very closed off energy. I don't see the direction. I don't know the direction. And I feel the sense to protect myself. And the Five of Cups is looking at things that are not serving you when all you have to do is turn around and you can see everything that you hope for, everything that you wish for right there, right in front of you. Okay. So the karma that's being cleared and moving forward is truly changing how you look at things, changing how you feel about things, and also opening up to having the things that you want to. Look at that, the Emperor underneath the deck. I like that. Okay, because that's Mars. That's telling me that once you're able to see what this karma is, you're able to move forward fairly quickly with action. All right, guys, I hope you all have an amazing Gemini full moon. I will be doing my full moon healing circle 2 different times on Sunday. Would love to have you join me. Going to be at 2 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. You can find the link to join under my events tab. I love you guys. I'll be back for another lunation update in about 2 weeks. All right. Love y'all. Bye.